Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me for another show, the First Fruit Stock Club show. Thank you. And my technology, I'll just say that. So today's show, today's topic you saw on the is did you miss your financial opportunity? So I'm doing a new format, okay? And so the format I'm going to do when I begin my show is I'm going to ask you guys a question. And the question today is why are some people able to seize opportunities while others are not? Why do some people seize opportunities while others do not? There's a lot of questions. A lot of answers to this question, a whole bunch of answers to this question. I'm just going to give three. And I'm going to call this framework, it's going to be called APE. Okay. APE. The first one is awareness, right? And when we're discussing investing, some people just aren't aware of the stock market. They just look at it, well, it's just a retirement thing. And maybe if it's there, if it's not, I just need to depend on my paycheck. That's fine. I understand that. Some people aren't aware that you can actually live on the stock market. The stock market can improve your lifestyle. It's not just a retirement thing. That's what's just sold. But you can make monthly income from the market. So some people just don't know, they're not aware of it. Understandable. So they definitely can't take advantage of an opportunity if they're not aware. The second one is preparation, right? To be an investor and want to invest, it takes preparation. And the number one way to prepare is savings, right? And this economy is so designed for you not to be able to save money. Like everything about it is designed for you not to save money. So you have to force savings and you have to find strategies to save. Okay. And one way is like, for example, if you, everyone, mostly everyone is back to work now. Okay. But if you're, if you have lunch and you go out for lunch, maybe you don't eat every day. Maybe you take a lunch a few days a week, right? And once you have those funds or whatever, you immediately put those funds inside the brokerage account, right? And I guess number one, if you and we're discussing investing, okay, seizing an opportunity when it comes to investing is you have to have a brokerage account, right? So it's easy. Open up any brokerage account on. I use E Trade. Go into your app store and you look for E Trade. Okay, go into it. You open it up. Ask you a few questions. Take you 2 minutes. Of course, if you don't have a brokerage account, you can't do anything I'm discussing right now. So that's number one. But then preparing to put money in that account, like it's an absolute fight. The economy is designed to make you spend all of your money, and you'll look at the end of your days and you'll say, "Man, what happened to all that money that I made? I didn't save any of it." Right? And maybe you have it in a 401k. Well, 401k will help you when you retire, but what about when you're working and you want to travel and you want extra money to do things? It can help you do that also. But saving, buying a less car than you need, buying a smaller house than you need, you know, not using credit cards. All those things are not to be cheap. You can still do those things, but we have to put a priority in saving for investing and putting that savings. Once we get the savings, not just say we're going to wait to the end of the month. So I'm going to do it at the end of the month. You have to do it at the beginning of the month because there's so many things that will happen that is designed to happen during the month to make sure that you don't have any money at the end of the month. It's designed this way. Okay. I know it's not you. I know you think, well, I'm just bad. No, it's the system is designed to make you spend every dollar you have. So you have to fight for your dollars and you have to put them places that will act as seeds and produce a harvest for you. Okay. And the last one is execution. Okay. Right. Once we get the money in the brokerage account, once we have an awareness of that we need to invest in that, it can improve our lifestyle and then we need to execute. And the news cycle is is a tough thing to deal with. Okay. It's a problem. Right. And it makes you think that the whole world's going to end, especially when it comes to investing. But let me just say this. When you put your money in the stock market, you put your money where everyone has their money, where everyone has their money. So, where you may not, when you put your money outside of the stock market, there's, you know, everyone doesn't have their money there. Okay. But everyone has their money in the stock market. So they really care. So they'll start having conversations with people who may be affecting the stock market. Okay. So you kind of have to put your money where everyone else's money is. The stock market is where everybody in the world wants access to the United States stock market. It's the biggest stock market in the world. Okay. It's the largest stock market in the world. So, man, definitely, definitely three things. Those are three things of people who definitely seize opportunities, right? All right. So, all right. So let me just do a quick ad real quick. First Fruit Stock Club, we'll help you do all that. We'll help you ape, okay? We'll help you have awareness, preparation, and we'll also help you execute, okay? So let me just go on. All right, so disclosure today is reader disclosure, information provided in the podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. Should not be considered as financial investment, tax, or legal advice. The views are expressed of the host and the guests of their own and not reflect opinions. Okay, read it. All right, let's move on. So, so the next part we're going to go through. I'm going to go through some of the opportunities that that I was able to take advantage of, and I don't know, what your if you are investing right now, but there's some things you have been able, you could have taken advantage of. All right, so let's go through the few stocks. These are stocks well and care. Apple, if you look at it, so April 7th, even though it shows the 8th on here, April 7th is we're considering it the low as of right now. Now it's still a long year, but I think we're at the low, right? That was the low of the market. So Apple hit a target of 172.42. What does this even mean? Like, how do I profit? Well, um, eh, I think today's price was I did it yesterday, but I think was $200 or maybe I think it was 205 when I uploaded the information. But we'll just look at it at that. So that would be a net of $33. Well, I mean, this is one way to do it. So if you had 10 shares, 3,300, 1,000 shares, 33,000. Okay. So that's one stock to look at. Next one was, and these are stocks that everyone knows. Microsoft, man, Microsoft went on a tear. But look at it. Look how it, had a dip on April, on the 7th, and I think it dipped also on the 10th. But it's interesting how they play games. This is why you can't be scared. Microsoft, and I own this company, and I also own it. Um, uh, I own this company, so man, it just accelerated. It hit earnings last week, I think, and man, it just started taking off. But if you look at it, hit a low of 357, so 435. I think it's even more now. Minus 357 is $78, right? $78 per share. So if you had 100 shares, $7,800, right? 10 shares, $780. Okay. 1,000 shares, $78,000. So that just breaks down the quick math of how, and this is over a month. Okay. So you get basically gave yourself a raise. And don't think about what about if you did options? Now I know you're like, well, I can't buy 1,000. Well, options. If you had one contract, you actually control 100 shares. Okay, and options involve risk. Investing involves risk. Okay, but you having a job in this economy is risky, right? Not your paycheck not being able to buy groceries is risky because things are so expensive. So we have to find ways to put it in the market. We find ways to put it other places, right? We have to find ways to put it in the market. All right, Meta. Let's look at Meta. Meta. Wow, Meta. Woo. Now this is one of my favorites also. $113. Right. And I play options on Meta as well as as well as I hold the stock in my long term portfolio. But Meta, $113, a low of 484 to 597. I think it's even more now. Um, so 113 profit you could have made. 10 shares, 1,100, 100. So you just do the math. 1,000, 11,000. All right. So let's go to the next thing. I don't have my music is not working, so I'm gonna get you guys gonna be ear horned out. My music is not working, so you ear horn. You're gonna be sound effect out today. That's what you have all. I'm gonna have all the sound effects. All right. So all right. So this is the next segment. It's called "Heard from the Grapevine." So, like I said, I decided to do the show over and work some different segments in. And the stock market is very communication in life is important, but communication in the stock market is very, very important, right? Communication controls the environment. Communication controls either a positive environment where stock prices are rising. It could be a muted environment where stocks are just kind of going up and down at a pace, or a negative environment where stock prices are down. The communication is very important. It controls all of that. So you have to watch and listen to the communication in the market. What are they saying? Right? One of the themes was AI, and everybody's excited about AI in the future, and it is. It's a big deal. Okay. So we're going to, so the next part is called Her from the Grapevine. Okay. And so, man, and discussing communication, communication, one of the greatest stock market communicators is Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, right? Heard it through the grapevine. So Warren Buffett had his annual meeting this weekend. Um, thousands of people go to Omaha just to hear him speak. All right. That's when we discuss communication, right? It's so important. And see his outview on the markets. Well, we found out this weekend that he's retiring. Look, I know that the NBA playoffs is going on right now, and Anthony Edwards and LeBron James, I promise you, they're not going to give you any money. They're not going to make you any money. Okay. You know all their stats. They're not going to make you any money. Warren Buffett has made so much money for people. Okay. If you have kids, you need to let them know they don't know who Warren Buffett is. They need to know. Of course, there are a lot of black billionaires, but Warren Buffett is the Michael Jordan of investing. He's the number one investor of all time. Okay. I'm going to show you his stats. So, so this is an example. So $1,000 invested in 1965. If someone had invested $1,000 in 1965, the year Buffett took control over Berkshire Hathaway, okay, that would have bought them roughly 52.63 shares. By 2025, Berkshire Hathaway is even worth more than 600,000 per share now. Those shares would be worth those 52.63 shares. This is the importance of investing. Okay. This is the importance of investing. Well, my $1,000 won't, sometimes it's not your thousand. Your thousand is for your kids. Think about this. What if your parents say, hey, look, I invested with this guy, Warren Buffett, and I have an estate. I'm going to leave you $31.6 million. I'm going to leave you, I'm going to leave you $31.6 million. I only invested $1. I just want you to think about that. So when you say, man, I can't start, I don't want to invest, all the excuses. I mean, it's not only you, it's your kids and your kids' kids. That's multi-generational wealth, right? All the craziness is going on in the economy. You think the people who invested in him are worried about anything right now? You think they right? So I'm not saying that, and that's my number one stock in my portfolio, Berkshire Hathaway. Um, and nothing is guaranteed according to the stock market, but I'm saying that he has been a life changer for investors. He actually, let me show you this. Give me 1 second. So every year, this is one of my favorite books. I hope they update this book. But this is one of my favorite books. I read this. You see, I'm all in it, got notes and everything. Berkshire Hathaway Letters to Shareholders, right? And he created his company. He's like the third richest man, fourth, I don't know, one of the richest men in the world. And he created his company and he writes this letter so basic. He says, I wanted my sisters and their friends to be able to read the letters and understand them. Remember, this is communication, right? Understanding, right? And a lot of times people don't invest because they don't understand, right? So he wrote the letters. They're very simple. You definitely have to be in there to be into investing to read it. But you're investing, you should own a share. All right. So yeah, so $31.6 million. All right. So let's look at Berkshire Hathaway. Um, so 1996 to today, right? You could earn 500, say if you invested $21 at that time, this is the price of the stock. I don't know if I did split adjusted or not, but it's now $539, right? And even on April 7th, the stock went down to 490, which gave you $113 profit. Okay, when we do the math, times 10, times 100, times 1,000. And but just imagine if you bought somehow you're able to get $21,518,000. I do not have 1,000 shares, but I will. All right, let's go to the next one. Meeting takeaways. This is what I my takeaways from the meeting. So he felt that tariffs are declarations of war. So he did not agree with Donald Trump's tariff strategy. And this is a good one. Not fully invested. So I believe in a club. I believe in what's called active management, right? Where we're not day trading, but we are looking for opportunities. And he said having cash in your account, right? So just think about it. In order to take advantage of some of those dips that we saw that I just showed you in those stocks, you need to have cash available in your account. Okay. So what I teach is, you have the three portfolios, the long term, the dividend, and the option portfolio. And I believe in, especially in your option and even in all three accounts, just having extra cash in those accounts, just for the fact, especially sometimes more than others, but so you're able to take advantage of the opportunity. He also discussed real estate versus stocks. His opinion was that they asked him, well, why don't you do more real estate? And he says, the stock market is a lot easier to get scale. Okay, with real estate usually, and he discussed that there are a lot of families that own large real estate positions. So by the time you deal with the family and you try to go to settlement and do all those things, you could easily buy, you know, if you're transferring a share, if you're buying the shares in a company, it can easily be done. But with real estate, you don't know if you're going to be able to close all different things that happen. So, I mean, I love real estate, but I believe if you're entering, you're starting out investing, I love investing in stocks because they're liquid and they're so easy. You just open a brokerage account and you start investing. And man, doing what you love. And I definitely this one hit me because I started out as a financial advisor. I started out as a financial advisor, and I basically became a financial advisor. It was one of the worst times in the year 2000 when the stock market crashed, and but I could not make any money. Like people were not buying stocks. It was a tough time, so I had to do other things to make money. And basically had to clean buildings at night. I was a financial advisor by day, cleaning toilets by night. So, and I had to take a second job. I had to do a lot of things just to, kind of maintain. And I just had to, as a financial advisor, I just had to let it go. Right. And, I just couldn't make it work. It was a bad time. But man, finding something you love, that's why I love doing this. I don't care if no one watches. I'm gonna do this every time. I love talking about stocks. The time I put in to research this and give information, it's wonderful. All right, so let me move on. Meeting takeaways. So look, this is the stability report. There's another section. Dividends have historically made up 30 to 50% of S&P's total returns, should be returns, depending on the time period and market conditions. All right, the stock we're going to talk about today is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is actually one of Warren Buffett's most famous holdings. Um, man, it's been doing pretty good this year. Pays a yield at the time 2.87. So look, Coca-Cola has paid its dividends for the last 100 years. Okay. It's been paying dividends. It's been paying dividends since 1920, and it's considered a dividend king. Its current year is about 2.5, which we just discussed. Let's let's do some fun facts about Coca-Cola. It has 1.9 billion servings are sold every day. Its products are consumed about for about 2 billion people in about 200 countries. And Coca-Cola has over 200 brands throughout the world. It's amazing, right? Um, so the business model of Coca-Cola, right? And this is where Warren Buffett got his whole thing. This is the reason, one of the reasons why I believe he invested in Apple, which he said when it was one of his best investments ever. Asset light businesses, like what was that? Excuse me. So asset light businesses um, are businesses uh, that you don't have to put a lot of money into for them to generate money. So think about it. The less money you put in, the more money you take out, the better the investment is. Coca-Cola is one of those businesses because all they do is make the concentrate, right? They make the concentrate and then they sell the concentrate to the distribution companies. Man, I had an opportunity to go and I met the CEO of Coca-Cola and the CEO of Pepsi. They used to have this thing called the Beverage Digest in New York. Um, it was a great time. Good memories. But this is an asset light model, okay? During a recession, this is why it performs, right? Because uh, beverage consumption tends to be stable during recession. So that's why this is a stability report, right? We're finding stocks that are stable through tough economic times or um, volatile economic times. Coca Cola is one of those companies that you could put in your portfolio, right? The brand value of Coca Cola is worth over $60 billion. It's one of the 10 most valuable brands in the world. And its net is recognized by 94% of the people throughout the world. And that's something. Wow. Um, one thing I want to say, I guess I'm sorry, I forgot the slide, is that Coca Cola has, Coke does not taste the same in every country, right? Different countries have different, Coca Cola has a different taste. Like in India, the sweetener is a little, I think it's spicy. I've never had it, Indian Coke. And China, it tastes different also. So the taste is different throughout the world. It doesn't taste like like the American Coca Cola. I thought that was interesting. All right. So the last report and last portion of the show is the foundation. Look, in investing, financials are part of the foundation, right? Are the foundation of a company. So let's just look at some basic financials of Coke. The market cap is $260 billion. That is the price of the stock versus and multiply it times how many shares the company has outstanding, and you get 260 billion. The price to earnings, that means the price divided by the earnings, is 23 times the price. All right, that's a PE. It's called PE, 23 times the price. Free cash flow is 9 to 10 billion dollars a year. Just think about if after you paid your bills, most of your bills, you had about 9 to 10 billion dollars to play with. The return on equity, so the return as you invest in equity, the return you get is 40%. This has been the rate, and a dividend pays out 75% of its income in dividends. Okay, so that's Coca Cola. Hey, I thank you guys for joining me for another. And thank you guys for joining me for another show. I do not have any music today, but that's okay. You get all the sound. Yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you guys for joining me for another First Fruit Stock Club show. Man, tell your friends, tell your family. I've also connected a few links for you. I have a free dividend um, information pack. You can go on, look at, get some information about dividends and how to set up a monthly dividend um, portfolio. It's free. And also, my link is on there and link to the stock club. You guys join the stock club. Like, don't get left behind. Okay. In this market, don't get left behind. And if you're nervous and scared, man, join the club, join a community, right? That is about investing. If you always had questions about it, join the community. All right, guys. Until next time. All right, be fruitful.